Let's bring in Michael Steele. He's the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He's joining us here in the Situation Room. What do you think about this?
Well, I don't have much to say about it. I'm not, fortunately, involved at that level of electing the chairman of the Young Republicans. I think it's a stupid mistake that was made to appear to agree with a racist comment on a blog or some other posting. The membership has worked it out. They've elected her. She's put a statement out clarifying that she thought it was a dumb thing to do and she should have known better and she wouldn't do it again. What they need to do now is come together, recognize that she's been elected, and move forward. And use it as a lesson learned. And that, the one thing about the times we live in is that we are now much more politically and otherwise aware of how comments and phrases and agreements to those things can have an impact. And I think in this case, the Young Republicans should be in a position now to move forward, understanding that the whole institution is impacted by this. And now they need to heal it and move on.
You're the first African-American to lead the Republican Party. Have you experienced, since becoming chairman, any racism?
Oh, no. My goodness, no. No, not at all. And I think that, this notion that somehow racism is only unique to the Republican Party, or that racism is, something that Republicans are found to be involved with, it's just got to stop. I mean, the reality of it is racism is a reality in America still, even with the election of Barack Obama. And I think that, again, as we've seen in the '08 election, as we will see in future elections, as more and more African-American candidates run as Republicans and Democrats, that these issues are still going to be dealt with because it's part of the fabric of this nation. That we still have not yet to come to grips with, Wolf, and I think that's part of the reality here. People like to blow it up when it involves Republicans because they think that it confirms a narrative that they think is true, but the reality of it is this country still struggles with the Democrat, Republican, black, white.
Let's talk about health care reform, a significant issue right now. Do you have a problem with raising the tax rates for the wealthiest Americans, those making more than $250,000 or $300,000 or $350,000 a year, in order to generate funds needed so that 30 or 40 million uninsured Americans will have health care?
Well, this is the problem I have with this. The short answer is absolutely. Why are we going down this road? You're talking 30 to 40 million Americans who are without health insurance. So 10 million of which are illegal immigrants who wouldn't get it anyway. So you have a smaller pool of people to work with.
Still millions of people here involved.
But out of 310 million people. So you're going to upend the entire system, healthcare system of this nation, of 310 million people. 90% of the voters of whom have health insurance, 82% of all Americans have.
So do I hear you saying the country doesn't need health care reform?
I'm not saying that. We do need health care reform. The reform we need is a cost reform. We need to look at the cost of health care. That's why the Republicans have argued for putting portability, putting legal questions and things like that impact the cost of health care on the table. Not just going, okay, you make X amount of dollars, I'm going to tax you more to pay for his health care. That's not solving the problem. You're still not dealing with trial lawyers. You're still not dealing with insurance companies. You're still not dealing with the pharmaceuticals. You're still not dealing with the patient-doctor relationship. The government is inserting itself in a way that I think takes the choice.
Is this priority number one for the Republicans right now?
Absolutely.
To destroy any notion of what the Democrats want, and certainly what President Obama wants, health care reform?
No, we're not trying to destroy the notion of health care reform.
No, but the notion that they have.
What we're trying to get the American people to appreciate is that there's a better way to do this, that we do not have to tax and spend our way to better health care. We do not have to tax and spend our way to deal with the costs. Where in American history, or anywhere for that matter, have you saved money by spending more money? It just does. Do you do that? Is that how you run your household? Oh, dear, we have a budget deficit. Let's go out and buy a new house. We have a budget deficit. Let's go buy a new car. You don't do that. So why is the government?
But if you want to bring in 30 or 40 million, whatever the number is, of people into the health insurance community, that's going to cost money.
Then look at how we address the cost to get those 30 to 40 million people to the table. And there are a number of ways to do that. 10 or 12 million of those people qualify already for health care. They just don't know it. a certain percentage that include young people who generally feel they don't need health insurance. What we've decided to do is to go directly to the people, to have a conversation. We're inviting Americans to go to BarackObamaExperiment.com, where you can go and share your experience on health care. Let's get this story before the Congress. Wolf, how the heck...
Well, I want to move on to talk about some other political issues.
One other point. I just got to make this
very
point.
quickly.
Look what they did with the cap and trade bill. 1,300 pages of legislation nobody bothered to read. The administration wants to rush through in 2 weeks a massive overhaul of our health care system. Tell me how many congressmen are going to read that bill.
You're obviously going to fight it. Let's talk a little bit about Sarah Palin, the governor of Alaska. She stunned all of us a couple of weeks ago by announcing she was resigning. Peggy Noonan, who was one of the chief speechwriters for Ronald Reagan, Republican, writing in the Wall Street Journal. Sarah Palin's resignation gives Republicans a new opportunity to see her playing, to review the bidding, see her strengths, acknowledge her limits, and let go of her drama. It is an opportunity they should take. Pretty strong words from Peggy Noonan.
Well, I think, you know, the story on Sarah Palin is simply that she made a very difficult choice to give up the governorship, to focus on her family, to focus on other things. I respect that choice. I admire that choice because it's very tough to do. And so if you feel that in your leadership that other things are distracting from your ability to lead,
you don't have a problem that it looks like she quit in the middle of her term?
No, she didn't. That's a wonderful Democrat talking point, that she's a quitter. What she did was she made a judgment about whether or not she could continue to be effective in her leadership there, whether or not there were other things that were more important to deal with her family and her young son that she has to care for. She made a personal and political decision. The brain trust here in Washington and around the country that's second-guessing her, that think they know Sarah Palin better than she does, you know, have no understanding or appreciation for what she's going through and why she made that decision. You have to take her at face value, why she made that decision when she did, and then let's wait and see what Sarah does next, because then that will begin to give you some idea of how that story will unfold. So all the pontificating, stop it. Wait and see what she does.
We'll wait together with you. Michael Steele, always a pleasure having you here in the Situation Room. We hope you come back.
You got it. I will.
Thank you.